Came for my wins, I need my ends. This life is real, I get it in, I get it in.
What's happening, people? Welcome to The Flex, man. Welcome to my second installment here on my channel. I got to start by saying a massive thank you to all you lot for the support on my first video, man. I didn't expect to get that much love. Thank you to everyone who subscribed. Thank you to everyone who smashed a like on the video, everyone who shared. We got to about 1,500 subscribers in literally just over a day, man, which is crazy. Video's been up, I think, just short of a week now. 3.5k views, something like that. Brilliant. I really appreciate it. And the comments that you guys left, just kind of saying how happy you were that I started this channel, and pleased you were to just see a different perspective to me, man. And like I said, I'm here in quarantine. Don't judge the beard. I've got greys coming out of it. It's overgrown. It's not straight, but we're all in the same boat, man. You know what I mean? You can't take yourself too seriously in these times. At least if you're a hairdresser or one of them guys or a barber, then you lot are sorted, innit? But at the same time, we're all here, man. I'm just doing the best we can under the circumstances. Haven't got the green screen with me, so I haven't got all the jazzy stuff that Josh normally does in the buttons. I'm just here in my bedroom, similar to Goldbridge, actually. But this show, I wanted to kind of do something a bit different in terms of, well, actually, I say different. It's just what we're going to do a lot on The Flex in terms of the first few videos, which is tell you lot a bit more about me. I put out a poll, or should I say a tweet on Twitter, just sort of saying, get your questions in, man. Fire some questions. I want you guys to see the different elements to me. I explained I touched on them a little bit in the first video, but that was just more of an introduction to my channel. And now I just want to kind of open up. And you know what? The first question, but I've got to start with, which I was inundated with questions asking this. And just in general, when I speak to people, it's almost the first thing they always ask me. How did you get into YouTube and how did you meet Mark Goldbridge? And I actually got a tweet here from @CarlHibbert. And he says, how did you meet Mark? And a couple of other people did say that to me. And you know what? It's so weird how this all happened, because I went to see a friend because I wanted to start a YouTube channel for DJing. I wanted to do like album reviews as well and music stuff, which is a lot of the stuff that I am going to be doing on this channel, which is almost like the original thought process behind it. And I went to see a good friend of mine who was a good person to speak to about sort of starting up a channel and stuff like that. And I went to go speak to him, and before we even sat down to start talking about that, he said, "Oh, I know a guy actually, and he's got a Manchester United channel, and he's looking to take it further, and kind of, you know, build a different aspect to the channel, diversify the content, bring in new faces, new voices, etc. And they don't do like fan cams, the type of content he does. Bear in mind, I didn't know who Mark was at this time. I'd never even seen United Stand at this time. I think he had about 110,000 subscribers, but I'd actually never seen it before. And I thought, okay, why are you telling me this sort of thing? And they carried on, and he goes, nah, I think I'm going to put you in contact with him. I think you'll be really good for what he's looking for. And I was like, what do you mean? As in like going outside the grounds and interviewing the fans and like doing YouTube and hosting things and interviewing and stuff. And he was like, yeah, do it. And I was like, no, I think you got me all wrong. Like, I'm just a DJ. I just love my music. And I work in a school. Like, that's it. So I sort of said to him, well, tell me more. And he's like, well, at the end of the day, he's just looking for someone to see how it goes, to diversify the content, just have that conversation. So he gave me Mark's number. I gave Mark a call. And I remember Mark saying we're looking to maybe start fan cams and take the channel in a different direction, and well, not a different direction, but just build on the channel. But I literally thought I'll be no good at that. Like, I'm not good at interviewing, or I'm not good at like talking to people in that capacity. Like, I'm a people person. I love meeting new people, but not like in front of a camera, if you get what I'm saying. But he was like, my friend was like, yeah, you love Man United. You know your football. You're a passionate football fan. You've been following Man United all your life. It's perfect for you. So after I spoke to Mark the first time, he said, look, we'll try it for a couple of games. We'll try it out and see how it goes. And then literally it just went from there. I remember my first day on fan cams, I remember my first fan cam actually. I don't want to talk too much about that, because we're going to do some reaction videos over on United Stand. So I'm not going to talk too much about it because I don't want it to be too much United based. But I just remember basically people were just walking past. I would say, hi, United Stand, Flex United Stand TV. And they were like, piss off, mate. Fuck off. Get out. Who are you? Whatever. literally holding a microphone, seeing people just go, see you later, see you later. Like, that's literally what it was like. And then you get the first person, you get the second person, and more people start thinking, okay, I'll do that. And I just never ever thought it would materialize into what it is now. I mean, when I first started on the channel, I think it had 120,000 or something like that K, and now we're just short of 700 in what, 2.5 years. It's been crazy. So that's how I got into it, man. It just happened. It literally just happened. I wanted to start. The long and short of it is, I wanted to start a YouTube channel on music and DJing, and I ended up walking out of there with the potential to do football content, which I never started out wanting to do. And then it just grew and grew from there to where I am now. And like, I'm still learning. And people say, oh, you're good at this or you're good at that, or give me advice on this or give me advice on that. And my advice is just be yourself. Like, that's all I've been. Like, since I've started this, I've just been myself. I think what I've learned is that the people decide, you lot, the viewers, the people who watch, man, you guys decide if you like the content or not. And I think it's very evident that if you keep going and nobody watches, then the chances are people maybe aren't picking up what you're putting down. But for me, I've just embraced it. I'm a humble person, so I don't let any of that go to my head. Like, when people say, oh, you like, oh, it's sick, like, people know who you are, or this, that, and the other. Like, I don't really see that as a thing. Like, I don't look at that. I'm just there to talk about football with fellow fans. Like, I'm just a fan. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just a fan, like every one of you guys at home, even if you do or don't support Manchester United. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how I got into it, and I'm glad, man. I'm glad. Another question was actually, let me get it here. It was, who was it from? It was about what I did before this, actually. I haven't got it here on my iPad. Oh yeah, that was, what was your first job? Basically, someone's asking what I did before YouTube, and I've always wanted to talk about that, because if you guys follow me on social media, which I know a lot of you do, especially on Instagram and Twitter, I always kind of talk about my past experiences. When I worked in a school, I was a special needs, I would say coordinator, but I was a behaviour manager in a special school, a BSED school, which is a school for kids with behavioural, social, emotional disorders. And it's a tough environment, really, really tough environment to work in. A lot of disadvantaged kids can't help the hand that they were dealt. Do you know what I mean? Bad start in life, kids subject to domestic abuse, sexual abuse, kids who are carers themselves, kids who are neglected. You know, it's a really tough environment to work in, but I absolutely loved it. And if I didn't accidentally fall into YouTube, I would 100% still there. I was there just short of probably 9 years. I was there for, and left there throughout last May. Is it last May? Last May I left there, and yeah, for me, I like helping young people. I've been a youth worker for nearly about same 9 years, and that's what I did before YouTube. And I think it's important. I think it's so important. Still, something that's really important to me is helping young people, because we've all been there as youngsters. I don't know how old you guys are watching this, but you know, it's a scary time, especially when you haven't had the best start. Like, I'm working with pupils that, like, forget, you know, academic stuff. Like, you got to skip it, like, right back to the start, in terms of their basic needs weren't even being met. We're having kids turn up to school, they haven't even been fed, they haven't been washed properly, or they're not washing properly at home. They don't have a lot of those basic essentials that they need to be able to come into an environment to learn. And that was the most heartbreaking thing for me about that, and why I was so passionate about working with pupils who had that. And also, I worked with a lot of pupils who have ADHD, ADD, Asperger's, autism, and things like that. And a lot of these pupils are just misunderstood. You know, I was lucky enough to go to a mainstream school all the way through my schooling, but you know, you guys know what it's like if you've been to a mainstream school. Class of 30, you've got one teacher, maybe one teaching assistant. It's all about results. And I think if you fall outside of that barrier of you need extra help, or you're not confident, or you've got problems or issues going on, or you do have learning difficulties or behavioural difficulties, you don't always get that attention, that specific, like, attention that you really need to be able to thrive, or to be able to learn, or even communicate. You know, half of the bad behavior that you see from young people is just them trying to talk to you in a different way. It's them actually saying, I don't understand what you're telling me, but my defense mechanism to that, instead of being able to portray how they're feeling in a positive way, or in a way that you and I may do in terms of, "Miss, sir, I don't really understand this. Can you help me?" Their way of expressing that is to shout and swear, or cover it up by being a bully or whatever. So there's a lot more that meets the eye with young people who are going through stuff. And the youth work, being a youth worker, like I said, I'm not anymore, but for like 9 years. And that was in my local community. I was stationed in quite a few different youth clubs around Luton, and I really enjoyed it, man. Again, some people used to call me crazy because I used to go with kind of working with really difficult, challenging children at school, where literally I'm talking, the kids can be violent, so they can come at you, they can throw stuff at you, kick, punch, spit, bite, whatever. And I say they can do that, not that they were allowed to, but that's the sort of behaviours that they could exhibit. And you have to be, we were like trained in restraints and stuff like that to be able to work there. We used a thing called team teach. But it was difficult because people used to call me crazy because they would say, "Oh, you're working like there 9 to 5 and then you're leaving there and then working with more young people in your community. Like, are you crazy?" Like, you do need a lot of patience, and I think that's what actually helps me with doing what I do here on YouTube. You guys have seen me face hostility before. You've seen me speak to angry fans, or even just idiots who want to chat shit in my face or give abuse and stuff. And you guys see how I react to that. And a lot of you guys say, "Oh, how do you keep so calm in these situations?" It's because, like, I have that ability, I think, to just keep calm. I've been in hostile environments for a good 10 years. And me as a person as well, I'm just quite laid back. I'm just chilled. That's just how I am, to be honest with you. So yeah, the youth club thing was brilliant. I was to teach kids DJing and stuff like that, which I'll get onto when I talk a bit more about DJing. We used to take them on trips, do a lot of relationship building, a lot of self-esteem, a lot of stuff further on from their school, which sometimes kids don't want to talk about with their teachers. And I loved it. When the government made all the cuts, we lost all our youth clubs here in Luton, and we had to do a thing called detached street work, and it literally was very limited resources going into tough areas, underprivileged areas, deprived areas where the kids don't have a lot to do. Literally, I was just armed with like a football and like a cricket set and stuff like that, and we just used to make best with the space that we had, which was local parks and stuff, and just do some work, man. But I really enjoyed it. So again, if I didn't fall into YouTube, that's what I would have been into. And this, like I said, this is like I'm just taking some questions from what people have been putting out there on Twitter. This is just like a random thing, you know what I mean? Just more about me. So actually that question was from Anas with a whole bunch of numbers. And he said, "Hello Flex, how was your teaching experience and how have you enjoyed it?" So I've pretty much just covered that. That's what I was actually looking for. This question is actually from Sophie. Hold tight, Sophie. Soph Richo. Always been on the United Stand. Hold tight, Soph. Check out her channel as well. She says, "Favorite trainers you've ever had?" Like I said to you guys in my first video, you lot know how much I love trainers and footwear. Big sneakerhead. My collection's not, I'll say I've got a decent collection of trainers, but it's nowhere near where I want it to be. But I'm going to work on that in the next coming years, 100%. Favorite trainers I've ever had? I've got to say, probably, I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember. If you don't, go to Google right now as I'm telling you this. LA Gear, yeah? Google LA Gear trainers, yeah? They used to light up at the bottom, yeah? Now, don't get me wrong, I had Jordans when I was younger. I had the Patrick Ewings. I had the old school Feelers. I had Reebok Classics, Reebok Workouts, Air Max, all of that stuff. Like, that's for another day. But my actual favourite trainers that gave me the most joy at the time was them LA Gears. I'm telling you, I'm walking around, yeah. I grew up in Harlesden, northwest London. And I'm walking around the streets at about 9, 10, maybe even 8, whatever. I remember it because I wanted these trainers for ages. Just walking, looking at my foot, looking down. Like, I'm not even looking where I'm walking because the trainers light up. I was gassed, like absolutely gassed. So yeah, I'll probably say LA Gear. Like now into the present day, my favorite trainers, you lot see me wear a lot of Yeezys, Yeezy 350s. I love them because they're comfortable and they come in a lot of mad colorways, which I do like. And you know what? At the beginning, I used to hate Yeezys. I remember when Kanye first come out with them. And I was like, what the hell are them things? They're basically just socks. Like, do you know what I mean? They're just socks. What's anyone going to do with them? And I just bought my first pair, which was the zebra ones, the white and black zebra ones. And then after that, you just kind of get sucked in, colorway after colorway after colorway. Although, a lot of the colorways that have been coming out recently are a bit of a rip-off. They've been they've been very, very similar. Hold tight, Craig. I tell him this all the time. He's just there jumping on every single pair of Yeezys, and a lot of them do look very similar. But yeah, to answer the question, my favorite pair of trainers that I've had are not actually the most high profile trainers, and they're obviously not my favorite now because I don't have them anymore. But I'd have to say them because they mean the most to me. This next question is from @Denaldo1mil. He says, what do you use to DJ and what's your favorite genre? And I think he wants to know a bit more about just DJing in general, and I've been wanting to talk about this for a hot minute. I'll start off with my favorite genre. Do you know what? I find it really difficult to pick my favorite genre. I'll tell you why. Because I'm such a holistic music person. Like I like all types of music in it, especially DJing as well. I'm a multi-genre DJ, so I'm not a house DJ or a hip hop DJ or a dancehall DJ. I'm an everything DJ, I suppose. I like 80s, I like 90s, I like a little bit of pop, I like a little bit of cheese, but obviously I love my hip hop, my R&B, my bashment, my reggae, my revival, my lovers rock, UK garage, grime, jungle, old school R&B, swing, new jack swing, whatever, man. Like, that's just me. I'm into it all. So my favorite genre, I grew up with dancehall. I come from a dancehall background. My dad is a DJ. My uncle's a DJ. My granddad was a DJ. So it runs in the family. So that's where I started DJing from when I was about 12 years old. And I used to go on my uncle's decks when I weren't allowed to be honest with you. But I started on 1210s, Technics 1210s. And then from that day forward, when I was about 12, 13, I was like, I need to keep doing this. Like, I love it. It's in my soul. It's in me. Like, I need to learn how to do this. And I just kept teaching myself. Just, I was crap at the start, like most people are. But I just taught myself, scratching, mixing, blending, cutting. I just taught myself. And I just kept at it. And then slowly I started to learn how to mix and beat match and stuff. And at the time, obviously, UK garage was massive. I had one uncle who was into was basically hip hop and dancehall. That was his thing. And my other uncle was into all UK garage. So I literally had the best of both worlds. So my uncle Sean, I used to go there. He used to live at my nan's at the time. And it was all garage. So that's where I learned my beat matching and stuff like that, how to mix records of the same tempo. Because when you've got house or dance or UK garage or funky or whatever, a lot of it's a similar tempo. So it's quite easy to mix. Hip hop, R&B, bashment, etc. That was my uncle Cedric and my dad, and that's where I learned like the art of selecting, really, because you got a selector and you got a mixer, you got a DJ, and I think there's a big difference. A selector maybe can't mix records together seamlessly, but they know what song to play after what and how to chat on the mic and then drop a tune and then make the crowd just go mad. You know what I'm saying? A selector. So I kind of learned the art of both. But my favorite genres, I have to say dancehall / reggae. It has to be. That's the foundations. That's what I grew up in. Coming up, I come from a Jamaican household. All my grandparents are Jamaican, apart from one, my Nanny Helen, who's Scottish. Yes, big up Nanny Helen, rest in peace. But other than that, everyone's Jamaican. On a Sunday, that's what's beating out the yard. Not even just on a Sunday, everywhere. My mum's car, my dad's car. My mum's listening to revival, lovers rock, 80s soul, all of these things, and That's where I got that. I got them roots from. Even back from my granddad's time, it was ska. Do you know what I'm saying? He used to listen to a lot of that and a lot of roots music and dub. So, reggae is definitely my favorite genre. And then, you know what? I love hip hop. I love old school hip hop, man. I love 90s hip hop. Yes, obviously Biggie and Tupac and that, but I'm talking like Method Man, original Jay-Z. I'm talking Nas. I'm talking Mos Def. I'm talking Tribe Called Quest. I'm talking Mobb Deep. Like, do you know what I'm saying? The list goes on. I could literally, I'll probably have to do a whole video just on music. And what do I? So that's what I used to DJ. Technics 1210s. And you know what? I remember I had one deck. This was the pain. I couldn't afford decks. My mum couldn't afford to get me like the whole setup. But I remember I said to my mum and dad, I said, I want to start buying records and I want a deck, and how do I work towards it? And my mum and dad split when I was about 8. So I lived with my mum, but my dad was very much around and used to make sure I was on top of my schoolwork and staying disciplined, etc., etc. Mum did a good job of that as well, but my dad was very much an authoritarian. And I just wanted to be able to own decks myself, but they were so expensive. It was like £500-600 for like one Technics 1210, which were the best. Obviously, you needed two of them, so that's what, 1,200 quid. You needed a mixer, which was the best part, of 500 quid. You needed a couple of speakers, an amp. So, you know, you're looking at a couple of grand, which at the time I was never able to have. But I remember saying to my mum and dad, look, set me some goals, please. Like, I want to work towards at least buying one record deck, one Technics 1210. And I think they set like some stuff within school. I had to get a certain amount of grades or get a good parents' evening, help out around the house. Just be generically good. And I did it. And I remember when I first got it for Christmas, and I cried, man. I got out of the box, I just couldn't believe it. And I said, man, what am I crying for? I only had one deck, you know. I didn't have the other deck. I didn't even have a mixer. I couldn't even use the deck. But the fact that I had it just made me, then I started buying records, which I talk about my first job. But with my first job, I used money from that to go to record shops to buy tunes on 12-inch and 7-inch. And I used to just put them away, not even being able to play them. Then what happened was I got a mixer. He dropped the iPad there. I bought a mixer, and it was about £200, Gemini mixer. Any DJs watching this will know. Little Gemini mixer. And I had one deck and one mixer. And then because I didn't have any music on the other side, because I only had one deck, what I had was, you know, the little CD Walkmans? I had a Goodman's one, I remember. Little round thing with the headphones. And I used that. I used to play a CD that I couldn't mix or anything, and I used to mix off one side and practice my beat matching. And you know what? I actually, throughout my whole teenage years, up until I was 18, 19, I never got around to getting the second deck ever. But that practice, and I started playing in clubs and stuff like that, is what kind of made me good at it, really. So yeah, people always say, excuse me, you must have like a massive setup at home and this, that, and the other. No, not even. I didn't have a massive setup. I didn't have a setup at home. I had a mishmash. I had one Gemini mixer and one Technics 1210, and never ever added to that. I didn't even get CD decks. I learned as I went on, and I started DJing in clubs when I was about 17, and people's parties and stuff, and it just went from there. My DJ partner Livo, anyone who knows me, especially around the three counties, Herts, Beds, Bucks, so you're talking anywhere from kind of Hertfordshire area, Hertford, Stevenage, St Albans, all of that, Watford, all the way up to Northampton, then into the Midlands, DJ'd up there. We'll know DJ partner Livo, Flex and Livo, that's what we go as. And I just haven't been able to do DJing since I've started the YouTube thing, since the YouTube thing kind of has become full time, and it's just taken up a lot of time following the football regime. You lot see how much I have to travel and the work that goes into following United home and away every single game. I haven't been able to DJ as much as possible, but as much as I'd like to. But that's changing. I'm coming back. Don't worry, that's coming on this channel. So yeah, that's about my DJing side of it. I like this question. This is from @Legacy2. What was your first job? My first job was working in a corner shop at the bottom of my road. I called the shop Sid's. I never know what the shop was actually called. You know them corner shops that don't actually have a name. It's just a man on the corner. Asian guy called Sid. He's a taxi driver now. I've seen him about. And he gave me my first job when I was about 14, maybe 13. And I was just literally stocking up. You know what I mean? I used to put out the sweets and the chocolates, the crisps, the drinks, whatever. Cooped up in a little shop. And I loved it, man. I've had a good work ethic from young. From when I was growing up, I've always been instilled with me from my mum. I'm a big mummy's boy, if you didn't know. Love my mum to bits, man. She helped give me everything, considering we didn't have a lot as a single parent. But yeah, I was always trying to earn money. So even from when I was way too young to work, I used to do things around the house, wash up the dishes. I used to clean the bathroom. I used to hoover up. Or I was like, Mum, if I do that, can I get £1? Or if I do this, can I get £1.50? I used to actually ask to do jobs so that I can earn money, just so I could start buying stuff. I've always wanted to be independent. So my first job, yeah, when I was old enough, it was the shop that I used to go into after school every day and before school, buying up Galaxies and crisps and chocolates and whatever. I remember saying to him, you looking for anyone I'm looking for a job, man. Like, Carl, let me work here. And I remember I used to get paid like, I didn't even get a note. I didn't even get a £5 note. Yeah. So like, I used to get like £4.25, some shit like that. But that £4.25, I was gassed. Yeah. When I say gas, that could get, man, chicken and chips. Yeah, when I go town on the weekend with my boys and that, walking around at all the amusements or whatever, I used to get that, and plus my mum was still giving me a little bit of pocket money, so she'd top it up to like a tenner. So I used to get like a tenner a week, £10 a week. And I used to love it, man. That's what I started buying records off. So that was my first job. My second job was a paper round. So that probably come about a year afterwards, when did I get my paper round? I was still in school, year 11, year 10. So I must have been about 14, 15. I used to deliver the Herald and Post, and with that, they used to deliver the papers in the morning, and it's not just like the papers are there, so you put them in the bag and then send them out. Anyone who's on the paper round, you'll know that you have like the other sub magazines. So there was like a car finder magazine that you had to put in, and a house one about properties and the different houses on the market. You had to put that in. So you had to bring both packs into the yard. My mum used to help me pack them, and then I lived on a massive hill. The hill was like a ladder. Like where I used to live, it wasn't even a hill, it was a ladder, bro. Trust me, it was mad. And then I used to be on that. So I used to walk. I didn't cycle. So I used to do my paper round every week, and then I didn't even get £5 on the dot. Like I wasn't even getting a note. I was getting again like £4.76, and it used to be so precise. But the coppers were in the little bag of money. They used to put the bag, like an envelope of money through my door at the end of each week, and it was just jingling. It was never paper money, And like I used to be counting actually like 1p, 5p, 2p's and that to make up, £4.76. And I'm like, they're taking a piss, man. I'm doing all this running around and I'm not even getting like an actual note. Do you know what I mean? I'm not even getting a note, taking a piss. So I'm not gonna lie, kids, if you got a paper round, don't do this. But they're probably a lot more well paid now. I don't know what paper rounds are. Do paper rounds even exist anymore? Do people even get that? But anyway, what I used to do, because I was so fed up of not getting what I thought I was worth, I started dumping the papers. There was a thing called Black Alley around the corner from my house. It was a way I used to walk through to school. And like you cross my road and go down this little alley, and it was like loads of overgrown bushes, and it backed onto like, it was the end of someone's garden. Then they had a fence, and over that fence it was just all bushes, and it was just all mash up with just loads of rubbish in there. And it's very bad of me, but I just used to dump the papers. I thought, loudest, man, they're taking a piss out of me, and they're not even giving me a fiver to walk up and down these roads and give out the papers and that. And I started dumping them until one week the papers never arrived for me to deliver. So I rang them up and I'm like, yo, you guys haven't delivered the papers. And they were like, yeah, you're sacked. I'm like, why? They said, we've had loads of reports that people haven't been receiving their papers. Furthermore, we found a big stash of papers in the alleyway opposite your house. And I just put the phone down and I was like, ooh, this is Pete. Got found out. And my mum would say, oh, where's the papers? Like, you ain't had the paper around. I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to ring them. And I kept saying, I'll ring them. And in the end, my mum never found out. My mum only found out. My mum found that out when I was an adult. Yeah, my mum found out when I was an adult. And then my first proper job after that was working in Next, in the town centre. I worked in Next. That was my first proper like retail job, suited and booted. My friend Wesley got me a job in there. He already worked in there when we were 16 or 17, I think. We was in our first year of college. And that was my first job. I used to like it in there, man. It was a little bit boring, but again, I just wanted to work. And then I started working in JD Sports, which was perfect for me. Again, loving trainers from even that age. Like I said, I've loved training since I was a kid. So to work in JD Sports was sick. You get 25% discount, get access to the sale straight away, get discount on top of the sale. So as you can imagine, that was a dream for me. And then I left JD and I went to Foot Locker. Worked in Foot Locker. That was even better, man. You get like 50% family and friends day. You get 50% off twice in a year, plus 25% off normally. Sick. Used to get better trainers from there. And then I left there because it just went to shit. I got bored. And then I went back to JD. And then what did I do after that? Now I'm going to go into education. I feel like that's a whole different video. Yeah, I'm going to leave that there because I feel like I'm rambling. I feel like this is like the history and life of Flex, which it kind of is. But yeah. So that was my first job anyway. There was another question here. This is from Oggy04 King. Best Jay-Z album. I'm a big Jay-Z fan. Probably my favourite rapper of all time, with a few others in there. Or bringing it more to new school. J. Cole's up there for me. Nas is obviously up there. Fabulous is up there for me as well. Drake's definitely got to be in there, whether you think he's pop or hip-hop or not. I don't care what anyone says. The consistency of the guy is unreal. But my best Jay-Z album's got to be his first album, Reasonable Doubt. Check it out if you ain't seen it. I think it came out in 95. I want to say 95. But Reasonable Doubt, man, what an album that was. That had Dead Presidents on there. That had The Evils on there. can't remember other names of it, of tracks on that album, but that was a banging album for me. Reasonable Doubt. And then after that, probably, would I say the Black Album, or I'll probably say Black Album is close. Black Album, but the album that you had a couple of years ago, not the one just gone, the 444 one, not that one, the one that you had Justin Timberlake on, what was that called again? Magna Carta, Holy Grail. That album, that was a wicked album. I was listening back to that. Actually, that was a top album. So yeah, I'll definitely say that that was probably my favorite Jay-Z album of all time. Reasonable Doubt. It was sick. That's it. Come to the end of today's video, man. Let me dash that over there. Come to the end of today's video. I wanted to just do a Q&A. There's so much more questions that I can take, but I'm going to leave that for another video. I'm enjoying this. I'm not going to lie. Not enjoying being stuck in the house, but I'm starting to understand a bit more about myself. I'm starting to appreciate things a bit more. I still can't wait to get back to normality. I still can't wait to get back to watching football, etc., etc. And you know, doing more content for you guys. But in this capacity, I'm enjoying it, man. I like to open up. I haven't been able to do this. I feel like everything I've had to do is obviously within a football context, and I'm the interviewer. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's my job to answer the questions and let people have their say. And I feel like this is just a chance for me, to have my say. You lot, keep the comments coming in. I like to act on. I do read all the comments, especially that, you know, I haven't got 150,000 subscribers or whatever. But we're growing, man. The love, I can feel the love. I can feel the energy. You lot's positive words are spurring me on, and any negative words that I've heard anyone say, which I haven't, but they will spur me on as well, because I'm always just positive. That's just me. So thank you lot, man. I really appreciate it. You're gonna, like I said, I'm gonna keep my promise. You guys are gonna get all of me. Not all, maybe not all, but most of. And there's not really limits or boundaries as to what I'm going to do on this channel, man. And I like it because I could just do what I feel like. There's no strict schedule, man. I'm just going to do what I feel like. Next video I'll probably do in a few days' time. Probably 4 days, I don't know. See how I feel, you know. And yeah, get your questions in. Don't have to, please, again, non-United based. Like, yeah, I might do the odd thing here about United, but everything I do with the United Stand is going to stay on United Stand. Even when football comes back, like, I'm not going to be on here doing match reactions and stuff like that, because I do it on United Stand. You can check out everything I think about Manchester United in that capacity. Although there will be little bits and pieces that I can talk about, like old stuff or my favourite United this or my favourite player or this, that and the other, which I don't always get to do on United Stand. I get that. A lot of people have said they want to see some behind the scenes stuff, like on match days and stuff like that. We don't get a chance to put stuff like that out on United Stand, so I'm going to look into that, doing like some vlog type stuff, and DJing. I know a lot of you guys want to see that on the DJing. Actually, join me on Instagram, man. It's Thursday today as I'm recording this, so tomorrow at 7 p.m. UK time, get on my Instagram live. Yeah, follow me on Instagram at FlexUTD. Make sure you do. And I'm going to just be jamming, man, just playing some tunes. I got a lot of friends and family logging on. Some of them even dressing up. My mum's like, I'm dressing up. I'm like, Mum, what do you mean you're dressing up? She's like, I don't care. I want to hear 2 tune, get a little wine and hear some tune, yeah? I'm dressing up. She said she's in a loungewear all day. So some of my friends are even saying they're dressing up for it. But we're just going to have a jam session for about an hour and a bit on Instagram. So join me for that as well. Different surroundings. Like I said, I'm going to do the best I can. Like the video, subscribe, keep sharing. I saw that someone put in the comments, you know, there was enough people watching the video and not everyone subscribed. What's going on? Hit the sub button, man. Don't let me down. Anyway, guys, I'm out of it. I will see you, I was going to say same time, same place next week, because that's what I say after the Flex and Rant show every time. But I'm not going to say that. I will see you very, very soon. Peace.
I get it.